Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information, or follow the link in the description below. And as this is 90 after 90, I want to thank our sponsors, Cosmetic Repair Solutions, an independent award-winning network of vehicle accident repair centres located in Chesterfield, Rotherham, Dinnington, Barnsley and Derby. Visit the website to find out more or get an estimate at cosmeticrepair.co.uk.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is 90 after 90. 90 minutes, or up to 90 minutes, after that 90 minutes. Where do we start? Where do we start with that absolute shambles of a performance? Look, I think it will get overshadowed by the fact that we had a decent rally for the last 10-15 minutes. And that will be, I've already heard it on Radio Sheffield being portrayed as a game of two halves, and we really came into it second half. We're much better. If you heard what Ruben Sayers said in his post-match interview with Rob Staten of Radio Sheffield, he said, I didn't do anything at half-time, so we hadn't changed the plan. Why didn't you change the plan? He was basically saying, look, his argument in that answer, I believe, again, it's my interpretation, was, well, the plan was always there anyway to do that we did in the second half, so I didn't change anything. They just started playing to it. Well, if you see a first half like that and you don't think that there's anything needs changing, it don't have to be personnel, but just instruction. I need your help tonight. I need your help because, firstly, I always try and be positive. I try and always look on the bright side of stuff, but that will always be outweighed by my honesty. So I'm going to be honest with you tonight. I am struggling with this man, and I don't blame him solely. I think he got off. He started on back foot because he didn't have the tools that's needed. And we're only 4 games in, but it's 4 games on spin that we've lost and not convincing in any of them. And this is a team that's proven to be good enough. We've lost Anel Ahmedhodzic and we've lost Vinny Souza, who were the regular starters in our side. We can make an argument for the loans. I understand that too. But Ben Godfrey is a suitable replacement for Anel Ahmedhodzic, and we've got that now. You could say we'd got Tyler Bindon in to plug the gap. Vinny Souza we are still missing, but that Vinny Souza is not a drop-off between a 92-point team and 4 losses on, and it's not just 4 losses, it's the manner. And we said this after the second game, I think it was. Well, the first game when the heads dropped, but at least then we thought we could identify the issue being a defensive issue. Today, there was often criticism under Chris Wilder that there didn't seem to be a plan B. There didn't seem to be any other way other than give the ball to Gus or whatever it might be. And I understood. I was sort of half on board with that, but you don't mind it because he wins the games and he's successful. And that ultimately is what he's paid to do, and that is what we want as fans. We want a successful football club. It's great if they can look good doing it. At the minute, we don't look good doing anything, and we're awful. We're awful in terms of the results on the pitch as well. I don't see any shoots of optimism other than Ben Godfrey coming in and looking good. But we've got good players throughout this team. Michael Cooper, I still contest is the best goalkeeper in this league. That is my opinion. It's purely an opinion. But he played all right today. I'm not blaming him per se, but you could go through the team and name good players in their position. Ben Godfrey's another example. Yeah, played well today. We still got beaten. We were very uninspiring in defeat. Go same as the obvious example, but players like Callum O'Hare gets into 20 teams in this league, 22 teams in this league probably. Harrison Burrows, what has happened to Harrison Burrows? I really like him as a player. I hate going in on our own players. Well, unless they deserve it, which I think one does. But Harrison Burrows, for example, is very technically gifted, in my opinion, again. But his positional sense is all over the place. I haven't seen the goals back. It looked offside to me when we watched it live, but a few people have since said, and I think Danny Hall reported it on his live updates on X, Godfrey played him on. Godfrey played the player onside at the other side of the goal. So, legit goal, no complaints if that's the case. But who's marking the lad? The lad is 2, 3, 4 yards in acres of space on his right-hand side, our left-hand side. I can blame Jack Robinson if people want me to, but where's Harrison Burrows? He was caught out of position so many times today. Louis Barry, I didn't think were great. We are banging trouble here. We are banging trouble. And the problem is we could do an awful lot of business this week. We were all excited about Ben Godfrey coming in. Zetterstrom is one for the future, but can obviously be in the mix now. It's not like he's a signing that we just put on the back burner. 2 good signings. I'm pleased with those. And I'm not against Bindon. I think Bindon's a good signing. I'm not going to change all my tune out. I think Barry's a good signing. Samari's looked decent in his appearances, but you could give him all the tools he wants. The question now is, can he make them work? And it looks like Tanganga's getting ever closer. It's the Millwall fans today are singing, "You're going down with Tanganga." They think he's coming to Sheffield United. And Jaffet, what's the score? We're ringing out as well at Bramall Lane today. Fair play to Millwall fans. Always come, always loud. Don't mind any of that. There were a bit of scrapping after the game, which nobody likes. The chant, the Mill chant, always does my head in. But they're, good supporters. You can't say any other. They were another one like Swansea, and this is going to sound disrespectful, and I don't mean it to be, but they were there for the taking today. They weren't a great side. They were better than us, and they've won it on merit. But that's Bristol City, Swansea, and Millwall that we've all rolled over and had us bellies tickled. Birmingham too, but you take that out of the equation. I'm talking about league games now. And these are games that you don't expect to beat them, but if you're going to be top end at league, if you lose to one of them, it's a blip. If you lose to 2 of them, it's a bit of a nightmare. If you lose to 3 of them, is it curtains already? I think automatics have gone, haven't they? Automatics have gone. Are we fighting now to try? And is it too optimistic to even look at a playoff campaign? So we just need to arrest this form. And how are we going to do it? Do we honestly think that Ruben Sayers is the man to do it? And that sounds so extreme after 4 games. But I have to be honest with you and how I'm feeling. I want to be more positive. I'm happy to... Look, normally people will come on and have their rants and be saying Sayers out and all this sort of stuff. And if that's your opinion, get it in the comments. I'm happy to discuss that too. But tonight, I'm sort of pleading for anybody that can make a reasonable argument towards what has he shown us? There's nothing mid-game. There's nothing. And I'm going to say it before anybody else in comments say it. So I will take this hit for whoever's going to say it in the comments. This would not be happening under Chris Wilder. This would not be happening. And that is a broken record sort of thing. And I don't want to get down that line of where I'm saying it all the time. But if we sacked Ruben Sayers tonight, which we won't, and we chucked Chris Wilder a nice little bundle and apologised and sent him some flowers and chocolates, he would have us nowhere near the relegation zones. I'm not saying... you've tied his hands behind his back, haven't you? So whoever comes in now, whether it's Wilder, whether Sayers keeps his job, whether it's... I don't think Dye should come, but anybody else, Danny Roll, I don't think a playoff campaign's on. I'm struggling to even see how we get out of this slump at the minute. My head's all over the place with it. And I'm always trying to be positive, and I can't tonight. Watching that today, apart from last 15 minutes, but they were happy to let. Look, they weren't happy for us to come on to them because we were causing them some problems. But couldn't it? When you looks out, it's out into it. Burrows, it's the inside of the post. It goes wide at the other side of the goal. I think Ty Campbell's got to do better with that pinpoint header. I think he's got to score. Gus had a great shot saved and pushed over the bar. These are just things I can remember, but honestly, I'm fuming about it. I'm absolutely raging with what's happening to our club, but I don't know how to stop it other than a change. And it's drastic after 4 games. It is drastic, and I'm always trying to think of arguments for. So please, if you are out there and you feel positive, give me a reason to believe in Ruben Sayers. I want to, and I want to believe that the club can come together. But what it seems like to me at the minute is the board was split over sacking Chris Wilder, and then they were fairly unanimous on appointing Ruben Sayers once that decision had been made. Surely now, any whether you're a football man, football woman, or not, you can see that it's not working. We're not working. I'm not saying it hasn't worked, but it's not working. If any of those people are now thinking Ruben's not the right man, and say it was a 4-3 split in the boardroom, or whatever the numbers are, to sack Wilder, then why not? It only takes one of those people that said yes, and it should have been actually a no, we should have stuck with him. It doesn't take a lot to go back. I don't think it will happen, by the way. I don't think Wilder will come back. But he is the most obvious solution to come in and arrest this slide, because these players need belief. They need a plan. They need a structure to what they're doing. They look all at sea at the minute. They look like players just chucked out there. We look like we are way too attacking as a team, and no desire to lock the back door at all. Nothing at all. And we're sort of hoping that the defence can deal with whatever comes through. And then Sidney Peck's left there on an island on his own with this wave of midfielders coming towards him. And yeah, he starts chopping a few down. I thought Sidney Peck did all right today. I think that lad, along with Tom Cannon, I think they're both being hung out to dry a little bit in this system. I think Sidney Peck is not a 6, and he's been asked to do, because he's not Gus Hamer, he's being asked to do the job of a 6 rather than an 8, which I think is much more of an 8, which is more of a box-to-box players for people who don't like that terminology. And as a 6, as I call it, he's sort of asked to shield the defence rather than carry the ball a little bit and sort of intricate passing within the middle. So I don't like Sidney in that role. I think Tom Cannon, I get he hasn't hit the ground running, and I get that a lot's expected of him because he came in for money. But he's pushed out on right wing, and he's not a right winger. He's all over the place in terms of his positioning. He doesn't know where to be. Andre Brooks comes on, and yeah, he saw more of the ball. But is he a one-trick pony or what at the minute? And I don't like it. I don't like saying this. I said, I don't like going in on our players, but Andre Brooks looks like he's got no confidence at all at the minute. And I'd love him to get that. Do you know what Andre Brooks needs? And I don't know how many times we can say, because we can't afford to do it at a minute because we haven't got a right winger. He needs a loan. He needs a loan to League One where he can go and be the main boy for a team, lights up the league like Ollie Arblaster did for half a season at Port Vale. And then just, honestly, I'm just getting a few messages from a couple of pals, and it's just, some are Leeds, some are Blades, and it's a nightmare into it a minute. It's a nightmare what's happening to us. But Andre Brooks needs a loan. And Ryan O'Neill needs a loan. Louis Marsh needs a loan. But we haven't got the squad depth. What's happening to us? What is happening to us? We go to Middlesbrough next week in the early kickoff, which we'll be doing a watch along for on the channel. It'll be my first show back from my holiday, because I go on holiday tomorrow morning. Things will continue on the Blades Ramble because Dave the Nose and Man Mountain will be bringing you. We'll have a view from the mountain. We'll have a countdown to kickoff. We'll have hot off the presser. They're going to cover those for us as well. So thank you to them for doing those. But I will be back for the watch along on Saturday. And at the minute, they've won 3 on bounce, and we've lost 3 on bounce. And yeah, that's football irony that, oh, well, you know what's going to happen then, don't you? Well, it's not, is it? It's not going to happen. You know, we could get Tanganga in. We could get Philip Billing in, which I don't think we will, certainly at that speed, if at all. Don't get your hopes up about that one. But we need more than that. We need Declan Rice in, don't we? We are in trouble. We are in trouble. And at the minute, I do not have the faith in the manager, and I want to have the faith in the manager. I can't sit here and lie to you and try and project positivity, because it's just not the way we are, is it? I'm not going to sit here and toe the line and say, come on, we're all Blades and we'll get behind them. Yeah, we will. We will get behind them. I didn't like the booing or the ironic cheering, should I say, when Tom Cannon went off. I'm going to hope, and I'm going to try and spin it, that was the irony at the manager making a change finally, because it was our first substitution, I believe. Because what good does that do Tom Cannon? What good does that do? What good did it do Reece Norrington-Davies getting cheered when he got subbed off? How is that supporting our own players? Yes, yeah, they are, particularly in Reece's case, that game didn't play well. But come on, he don't. There are players. There are players. I'm not a Jack Robinson fan. I would never boo Jack Robinson on the field when I'm in the crowd. Because he's our player. Anyway, I'm gonna get cracking with some comments, and then I'll bring our first guests on because they're waiting very patiently. Let's have a look. Where do we start? Here we go. Lee says, anyone who knows even a little bit about football knew this was coming, but we have a plan unlike last year. Sorry, it's jumping about because there's loads of comments coming through. My guess is Chansiri is behind our owners. I wonder what his excuses will be today. I care about this club and my comments come from a place of concern and always did. I admit I was wrong about being Stoke. Being Stoke? Sorry, I don't know what that is, Lee. But yeah, I know. I think you sometimes walk a fine line with it, pal. And I don't like the biting at other people. And I'm not saying you're just you are guilty of that. I think people have bitten at you as well. But it's not about falling out with each other, is it? It's the one thing we'll do here is let you have whatever you want to say, as long as you say it in the right way. And I think it's more than fine to be against what's happening at the club. I certainly am that way tonight. So, yeah, it's never been about that, mate. Matt says, I think the reasons behind the change were sincere. I'm optimistic it'll come good. But I'm less optimistic that it'll be with Ruben. Sometimes the writing is on the wall. Time to change. Adios already from Matt. Jason says, absolute load of garbage. No fight, no passion. Shown at all, no passion shown at all. Utter tosh. Up all the rambles, up the Blades. Like and subscribe. The reasons for the change were based on a lack of knowledge about football and not liking to be told facts like Wilder did. So I think this is a good point from Lee, to be honest. And I won't keep going to the same people for comments because I think we're going to have that many tonight. We've already 650 people in, and I can already see how many comments we're getting, which is great. And I thank you all for it. But we'll have callers on as well, so I don't want anybody to miss out. But I think this is a really valid point. I think the owners would likely, and I've not spoken to the owners or anybody representing the owners, but it's widely acknowledged that the owners aren't football people. And you don't have to be, but you then have to surround yourself with football people. And we're not sure that they did that in the right way to begin with. If it's now the case that they recognise a mistake has been made, then rectify it. Rectify the mistake. Because I think, and I'll speak to one of my good mates who's waiting to come on, and we will probably have a chat about this, because I know he disagrees with me, but I think if you're going to have a plan to move on from Wilder, or certainly that one-man-centric role, which is what he's believed to be, then you have to have a longer-term plan. It has to be an evolution, like we talked about. I think Darren Smith mentioned the same term, evolution, not revolution, and we've said the same on the Ramble. And it's, why can't we work with Chris Wilder as our leader to change the structure while he's here? And he might not like some things, but he might agree with other things, and it might adapt how he works. We might be able to bring in a technical director or a director of football while Chris Wilder is our manager, and that might see us into the next manager appointment, if whenever that may be, 6 months, a year, 3, 5 years. Then there's a constant. So when Chris Wilder leaves the club, it doesn't fall apart, because we've gone from the sublime to the ridiculous, and we've done a 180 on what was a 92-point team. A 92-point yes, it wasn't a successful team, and the anti-Wilders and things like that, and I don't like to separate us like that, but people who don't like us even mentioning his name, which have no idea why, and they'll say I'm living in the past, but it's the very recent past. It's the man we've just moved on from, and we are saying that there's a potential it's been a mistake here. So I'm absolutely fuming about it. I can't. You can see the club falling apart in front of your eyes. That's what upsets me the most. You can see all the work being unpicked. And I don't just mean by Wilder. I mean all the progress we've made as a club is going backwards because we are trying to be revolutionary and different. If you were called Reuben Smith, would he have got the job? Would he be employed by us now? I'm not entirely convinced he would. And that's just how I feel. Cannon should not be able to play on the wing. Just awful. What's happened to Ukaki? Felt like no one was bothered till the last 20 minutes. Just woeful. I don't think Ukaki or Brooks are good enough, in my opinion, from the brief bits I've seen. And it appears that Ruben Sayers doesn't either, because that's why Tom Cannon's on the right. Because if Brooks or Ukaki were deemed to be better than Tom Cannon as players, they would be on the right. Now, Tom Cannon's done nothing to enhance his reputation as a right forward, but in fairness to him, it's a square peg in a round hole, isn't it? Big Kyle says Sayers is looking tactically incompetent, and it's bleeding into the players out of position. Players out of position. This muppet. Hang on. It's bleeding into the players. Too much hesitation and nerves. We're reading Lee Pitz's other comment there. That because he's pushing out comments all over the place. Rick says, "Wow, guys, you're in trouble. I truly wish you well and hope you recover marching on together." Sligo Blade says, "This fraud has to go. I don't care who we get in. He's clueless." Justin says, "Sayers has to go now." One question is, do we think another manager would have got better results with our current team? Yes, yes, and yes again. Get rid now. Hopefully we can save our season. Dover Blade says, "Evening, Jimmy and the Ramblers. Well, aren't we in a bit of a pickle? There needs to be a decision made quickly if we want to be in with a chance. Third to bottom in a couple of months is disgraceful." Yeah, bottom of the league. Below them lot as well. And they have every reason to be down there, and we don't. I'm lost for words, says Beast Boy. I don't even recognise this club anymore. Cannon needs to go. He's such a liability. Brooksy was miles better when he came on. Cannon can never start again. I don't agree. Paul says, just not good enough. Even Wendy's got a point with a patched up side. I think it was time for a change, but says he's not the answer. Not a shot on target in the first half. What's that about? Yeah, Dave Morwood says the players look like they have no idea what system, if any, Sayers is trying to play. And if he can't adapt to his tactics, we're in trouble. Cannon, not a right winger. Brooks, I have no words. Just glad we're friends here. Up all the rambles, up the blades. Like and subscribe. We cry together. Together we cry. Super Positive Jack says, I'm starting to think signings don't fix this. Agreed. For starters, how is it we were a promotion chasing team with a bench that week? There is no reaction. We have Borough and Ipswich next. Two teams we should be beating. We should be beating as they will be around the playoffs and we look far away. You wouldn't be... you wouldn't think we got playoffs last season, would you? Not only that, we dropped into the playoffs at the final throws, didn't we? Gaza says, remember Wilder signed Cannon? Shocking performance first half, a lot better second. We need a bit of lady luck on our side next two games, are huge, which could be the end of Sayers. Paul Rose of Well-Stoned Landscapes. Look at that, his sponsor comes up just as his comment comes up. It's like we did it on purpose. As a team, we look lost and clueless, and unfortunately for me, it's time to admit the mistakes and let this manager go, as we all know which direction this is going to go. So why wait another 2-3 games? That's where I am at the minute. Stu Bebop says, Jimmy, I said last week his P45 was in the post. It's nearly at its destination. The quicker he goes, our season starts. Get Wilder back ASAP. Double his salary from last time. Phil says, from the top to the bottom, none of these have ever played football. Sayers out. That is all, says Chris. Alex Cheesewright says, we're bottom of the league and deserve to be there. Optimism's gone. Fear for the season. Words don't fix this. Action does. And that is the key, isn't it? I think it's... We can talk about it all we like. I don't think that changes anything. I think we can all see the way it's going. I think it feels inevitable. Skiddy says, centre midfield is the issue in my opinion. Why didn't Samari start today? I think we need, in all honesty, this is my opinion, I'm going to bring my guest on now after this, but in my opinion, we need 2 6s. If you're going to let Gus have the free role and no discipline in the 8, he needs to be a little bit further forward on his own, and we need 2 6s. You could have Peck there if he's got somebody else to help him out, so maybe have Peck and Samari. But again, I don't think Peck's a 6. Peck and Samari, and have Gus go off and do whatever he likes to do as a deep 10, whatever it might be. Or even Callum O'Hare, and then you play the other one on the right, perhaps. But again, it's a bit of a mess because we're unbalanced. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So let's have a chat about it with the first man who's decided to join us tonight. Thank you very much for being brave and coming on, pal. It's the positive one. It's Keith. How's it going, Keith?
All right, my dad loved that, by the way.
Yeah, good to see him. Good to see. Nice shirt, by the way. That's probably best thing to come out at the season, isn't it, so far?
Oh yeah, that was the fact that I wasted a Balti pie, which did not improve my mood.
Did you literally launch a Balti pie or chuck a Balti pie away or something? What did you do?
I watched it while I was eating it while I was watching on screen at 30 minutes when they scored. I threw it, went in bin, but.
Good. Rather not back at someone's head.
Yeah.
Mate, talk to me about today. How are you feeling?
I can't. There's things that I can't say the bad players. The players that can get to top of the league. We've seen it last season. So you've got to say it's got to be manager. And the only positive I can find out of it is we looked a bit better in defence. We looked a little bit tighter. Not great, but better than we've been.
No, I agree. I think that's fair.
Whenever we got ball, we looked like we just didn't know what to do with it. Players there, and then they just looked round and panicked, and then launched a 40-yard cross ball, which Tom Cannon. I had an argument with my dad in stands about it, because my dad was saying he's playing rubbish. He's no good at this.
My dad said exactly the same.
But he's playing left wing. He's not a winger. To be a centre forward and to be a winger is 2 different skill sets. You've got to be able to finish and hold your ground, stand your ground. You know what I mean? Like a big, strong kind of player, and learn how to shield ball. And that's what you do as a striker.
Yeah,
as a winger, you've got to be quick, pacey, good with your feet. It's not his game set. And when Brooks came on, he was so much better. But again, when we got ball back in defence, it was 40-yard long balls across to Brooks, where he was having to jump up in air, control them mid-air to ball to drop before he can actually run anywhere. And then when we got ball and we were going forward, we were getting forward quick. And then as soon as we got near their penalty area, we stopped and passed it round and let them all get back and set up again for phase of attack. I weren't happy.
I know, mate. And you're normally a positive one, aren't you? Your name being stated as such, Brett, the positive played. But, I mean, can you pick any, other than the defence being a little bit tighter and Godfrey looking okay, can you pick any positives out of that? Do you see any shoots of optimism for us turning it round? I'm not just saying blame the manager, but as it's going at the minute, do you see any way of it turning, or do you think it's inevitable what's going to happen?
Like I said, the defence has got a bit better, so obviously we've worked on that. But I think we committed more people back than we did before. The amount of times you saw Gus Armour coming back into our penalty area to pick a ball up off a Cooper, instead of staying up in that 10 role attacking. It's like you've got one of the best attacking midfielders in league, and you're asking him to play it back. I just couldn't make sense of what he was doing, because you've got no release then. We were playing 10 at back most of the time, especially when they had corners and free kicks. We had nobody on halfway line or release, so when you've got ball, or if you manage to clear it, you've got somebody to chase it down. It just comes straight back there.
It was just being recycled back towards us, wasn't it? It's so frustrating.
I was getting mad at a point with that, and then, to be fair, when I was on my own, we were listening to Sayers' interview, when some of Radio Sheffield, some of the interviews, some of the fans saying, well, I think we'd at least deserve the point. I'm like, have I been missing something? Because, we played better for the last 15, but we were losing. We've got to.
I think it's recency bias, mate, to be honest. In terms of what the last few throws of the game, you remember what you've seen that you like as well. And I genuinely think some people will think, because we had a good go of it for the last 10, 15, then it were our second half and we should have got at least a point. But we didn't lay a glove on them till like 75 minutes. I thought we were really poor again.
We had
today.
to, didn't we? Last 15 minutes, we're losing 1-0. You've got to push men forward. But if you listen to Sayers, that should have been our plan from first minute. So why is it taking 70 minutes before we start thinking we're meant to be playing attacking here and start releasing players up front? And then it's like you commented on earlier, the one that set me off when I listened to it on way home on radio, where Sayers saying, you got in at second half. I didn't speak to players about it. We just went on. I think, well, you're a manager. That's your job.
I know. He was trying to defend himself. I think I interpreted it that he was trying to defend himself and sort of say, well, I didn't change anything at half time, and look how well they played. I think that was the argument. So they've obviously started listening to me at second half. Well, that to me, I can twist as making you sound incompetent, because it's why aren't you changing something? Because the first half were abysmal. So what you know, and they should have scored 2, maybe 3. So yeah, we have had our chances towards end, but we could have been out of sight for Millwall by then anyway. So
yeah, well, my dad said the same. My dad he was trying to say, well, we could have got a point out of that if we'd have just we're a bit unlucky and we just finished them chances off. I said, but Millwall could have finished their chances off.
Yeah, they could.
He done, but it's the Sayers thing of, like I always say, if he'd have been Wilder in charge and we'd have been in this position now instead of Sayers, do you think there'd be as many supportive people? Or do you think, because Wilder got 92 points and still people screaming for him to go?
I know.
Because if you got nothing after and played this badly, it baffles me.
Before I let you go, mate, would you make a change?
Yeah, if we could, it's hard to see, but I'd want somebody that we could get in.
Ruthless,
I wouldn't want
Brett.
to change if we hadn't got home.
Ruthless. I didn't expect that from you. I'm disappointed actually in the positive Blade.
Well, it's like I said earlier. Well, no. But like I said before on one of other streams, that I said I was going to write first 10 games off, like with new system, let him try and develop, because it was never going to go easy. But I just can't really see an improvement.
There's nothing, is there? There's nothing that says, oh, well, it's starting to click here and I can see where it's working there, but we just need to work on this bit. None of it. I think
the thing is, like I said, it looks a bit better. We're getting a bit at back. And then next game, we're crap at back. We've had 1 or 2 good chances off at wing. And then game after that, we're all right at back again, but we'd look like lost up in front. I can't work it out, but it's interesting.
It sure is interesting. That's one word for it. Brett, thank you for coming out. I thought you'd start us off on a positive note, but listen, I can't expect. Last thing I'd want you to do is not be true to how you're really feeling. So I know you try and be positive. A bit like me, I suppose. I do try and look at the bright side of things.
I've been looking. I run chat asking people to give me positives, but apparently there weren't many.
Well, they're in, I don't think, at minute. So thank you for coming on, pal.
No worries, mate.
And I'll catch you in a bit. All right, buddy.
Aye.
On to Middlesbrough. See you soon. Ta-ra, mate. Nice one, Brett. Thank you for coming on, pal. Look, it's not easy, is it? It's not easy for me to be sat talking about United at minute, and it's not easy for people to come on and have their say when they're not feeling like, super positive. Brett loves to be positive, as we've all seen previously, but at the minute it's hard to be, and I won't want anybody to pretend to be something that they're not. And fair play that Brett's true to himself. Let's just say that, to be fair. So I'm just trying to sort our next guest out in the background. As you all know, I'm useless at multitasking, so I'm not going to even try and hide the fact that I'm trying to do 2 things at once. So, what a fantastic looking gentleman we've got coming up in a moment. Yes, that's you. Right. So, in fact, we'll jump straight into it, shall we? Because I know this man has a slightly contrasting view as to what I've just been talking about. So, and a lot of you may agree with this. He's one of the cornerstones of the channel these days. You will find him on the 3 Mardy Blades. You'll be seeing a lot of him over the next week, or a little bit of him over the next week anyway. I'd love to have his intro music on, but we're just going to jump straight into it. It's Dave the Nose. How's it going, pal? Oh, no. I've muted you still. Say again.
I thought you were bringing Mountain on.
No. He'd get a full intro.
Yeah, he would, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd deserve it, to be fair.
He does deserve it. It does. You're right. Yeah. So, mate, well, for those that don't know, I've moved seats. We're still in John Street, but we're a little bit further back and to the right-hand side. It means we get to sit near Dave and his family as well. So me and Dave have already had a chat at half-time and again at full-time, so we know how each other are feeling. But just have your say, mate. See, let the people know what you're thinking about the situation at the minute.
Too easy to play through. Too easy to defend against. No identity. No pattern of play. Nothing. It's the writing's on the wall for me. I don't think there's any point in waiting 5-10 games to.
You'd change today, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would, because normally
you.
these things you see little things where you think that's not clicking yet, but when it does, it's going to be good. There's nothing. I think the heads are down, the confidence is shot. I see little bits where you're watching them when there's corners or throw-ins, and they're either not sure what to do, or they're having a bit of a, no, I'm not doing that, or
I know.
whatnot.
There's no. It's a regular thing we say. I think we used to say it about Wilder at times in terms of no plan B, but there appears to be no plan, no like set way of playing through. We say, as I know, it's get the ball forward quickly, but other than that, we don't even really do that half the time. No, I know.
And it gets into the final third, and it's stop and go backwards. It's just, play round pegs in square holes. I don't think Gus can. Either he's not had the right instructions, or Gus can't play in the middle as is at the moment. He's not
enough discipline, has he? Not enough discipline.
He wants to go and do his thing, which he's so good at. Yeah. And so you could make an argument that we're not playing to his strengths, and he's our best player. But he wants to go and do his thing, and not. I watched him in the first half, and we lost the ball, and he's not getting back, and then they scored then.
I was a big sort of. I won't say very outspoken, because he ended up getting Player of the Year last season, and I still don't. I think he did that in spite of his positioning. And I certainly said that at the time, because I think he's a much better 10. And I like him as an 8 who can go a little bit further forward. In a 2, you're right, I don't think it's working. And some would say we're a 3 today with Callum O'Hare further back than he usually is. But either way, he's not disciplined enough to still support his partner or partners in the middle. So he needs to be given that free role and license to roam if you're going to get the best out of him. I think Gus Aim is a 10. But what do you do with Callum O'Hare if Gus Aim is your 10? Because I think we're unbalanced. It's been a big problem for a while.
He ends up being the one that's stuck somewhere just to get him in the team, and that's not. That's
like
not
Tom
right.
Cannon was today.
Yeah. I felt for Tom Cannon. I think if you put the entire situation in context, I think he did all right.
Yeah,
he did as well as I'd expect. Sticking a 9 out on the wing to do. Yeah,
he's. I think he were hung out to dry a little bit today in pushing him out on right hand side, because people like my dad who were waiting for him to have an impact and hoping that he does, but aren't convinced. They're not going to be convinced with him out on right, so it frustrates him when he sees him not making a true impact. But I think it's unfair when he's not a right winger. The big thing, I suppose, because I know we ain't got long, mate. I don't want to sort of keep you on for ages when we've other people waiting, and I want to get through some comments as well. But the one thing I want to talk to you about is that tonight, and I've spoken to you about it already. I don't think it happens, but I don't think Chris Wilder is the name that I keep coming back to. Obviously,
yeah.
This doesn't happen under Chris Wilder. This does not happen.
Forward, mate. We can't, and we can't keep going back to it being Wilder being the answer to everything. As good as he was for us, and will ever be in United memory and folklore as.
So would you not want him back then?
The difficulty if we have him back is you put in so much. The guy would have all the power in the world, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You're turning around and going, we made a mistake. We can't. We can't live without.
Does he get the power or is it just great for his ego? It's great for his ego, which everybody likes. Let's be right. It's proven that he should never have been sacked in the first place. But crack on and get us away from all this danger, which no doubt he would do. There's no doubt in my mind, or 99% of Blade's minds, that he would, and yours as well, I'm sure, that he would be able to pull us away from trouble.
I'm not. this shouldn't have got rid of him. Should have kept him. Should have got rid of him. Whatever. I'm not really interested in any of that. That's been and gone. And there's more. You can't just expect that there's only one manager out there who can actually make your club work and your team work. There's plenty of people out there who can do it. So I want to look forward and not sort of get hung up on the shouldn't have done this. It was done. It's been done, and this is where we are now. And it's about how we make the best of the situation that we're in and go forward. And that's why we need to change it, because this is he's not the type of guy or the type of manager that I think's right for the fabric of the football club.
I disagree with it being. I think it's a fairly easy thing to say that it's a step backwards and we need to move forward, because if he's the man to knit everything together again, then I'm not. It doesn't have to be Chris Wilder, but I think in this situation where everything seems to have been ripped apart already, he's already proven that he can knit everything back together again. So why not have him there, even if it's as a bit of a placeholder? Even if you think in 18 months' time, if he's just steadied the ship and we want to sort of move away from him, get a director of football in above him, get a few different people in and around him, sort the structure out with a manager, yes, that might not be your first choice, but unfortunately he's the most successful that we've had in the last 25 years. So he might be the man. Who better knows the club and what we need than him?
He might be the man.
Yeah.
He's not the only man.
I agree with that, but who else would you go to that you know you could get a result from now? Which when he's a sure thing, why are we just trying to pick anybody that isn't Chris Wilder?
Well, you're assuming he'd come back as well. That's for a start.
Yeah, it is an assumption. We don't know that. We don't.
It's
an assumption.
Pick a name out, I could pick all sorts of names out of the hat, but there's no.
But they're all risks, aren't they?
It's always a risk. You make any change in any business or any club or anything, it's always a risk changing the head.
So is he not the lowest risk we could go for? Seeing his track record with the club twice.
It could be. It could be.
This is why I keep going back to him, because we are in such a mess. And me and you were looking over at each other at half time, and bloody heads are in his knees because we're watching this absolute dross. We could have won the Bristol game, and we could have won today. Yeah.
Right, we had the chances. We could be walking out, and I still would think I'm concerned about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Wilder last season, we had loads of games, and let's not, we talk recency. That word I can't speak.
Yeah.
Right, but 92 points. We talk all this stuff. There was loads of games last season that we could have walked away with nothing from. The performances, and I'll give Bobby in the Platinum group some props, because he always said just once he wanted us to go out there and dominate and look like a team that could beat anybody, and we probably never did. So,
what under Wilder?
In last season,
Coventry, Middlesbrough,
2,
Oxford at home, 3-0.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And then the Bristol
playoff games.
Right. So from 40.
So we never once did it last season.
I didn't. Right, but there's loads of these 1-0s where we scraped.
It doesn't matter. Do you know?
Scraped. No, my point being is that you can. It's a results-based business. But just if you brought him back doesn't necessarily mean that he'd suddenly turn that 1-0 defeat today into a 1-0 win.
No, and I agree with that. I agree with that element of it. And you bring in anybody back. You could, Man United could bring Fergie back, and it don't mean they're going to win the league.
Right.
But he would certainly steady the ship. The concern at the moment is everything is breaking apart and drifting into different cracks everywhere. The fabric of the club, as we know it, is being dismantled. It's not just on the pitch that we're having terrible results with no real vision of how it is going to turn around, because it's not just getting beat, it's getting well beaten. And I know today we came into it last 15 minutes, but there doesn't seem to be an answer to some of these clubs that are catching us so easily. We are so easy to play through. Like you said in your first point, it's also staff members leaving. It's targets taking so long to identify, and then missing out on much easier to attain targets who would have done just as good a job at this level. And now we're going to be paying up to 10 million quid for Tanganga. Great signing. Love it. And he would be a real statement signing at the back. He's about as strong a statement signing as you can make in this division for a defender. But it reeks of desperation for me. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because we'll get him. But can Sayers make him play? Because Ben Godfrey came in, looked good today, but we're still on losing side.
That's problem sometimes, you look at the guy, you look at them, look at the defence today, and I think the challenge from is often not their own quality. It's that they're getting overrun and getting played through.
Yeah, and there's no plan to counter that.
Yeah, the gap's too big between the front and the back. I worry. He must have wanted Samari. He says he has the final say on transfers. Signs Samari and then doesn't play him today against a team that everybody knows how horrible Millwall are to play against.
Yeah, and they were again today. And
I'm not knocking them, but they're awful to play. They always are. They always have been, and they probably always will be. And the one player that we've got in midfield in the team that seems to like has got a bit of spite about him. We don't even bring him on. I can't get my head around it.
No, me neither.
And I don't like digging people out, but I've seen a few going how much better Andre Brooks was when he came on. I totally disagree.
Yeah, I completely disagree too.
His very first touch was appalling. Some of the rest of his first touches were decent, but then he'd get the ball, and it was the same thing every time.
So one-dimensional. So one-dimensional.
Compact. Just go compact, and that's it. There's nothing. They're not getting through anywhere at all with him. I think Godfrey's a good signing. I know he's costing us money. I think he needs to be playing in the middle. I'm unconvinced about Bindon, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's. I like him as a signing. I've liked him when he came in, and I think he will be a good player. But I think he's struggling in the system at the minute as well. Yeah. Like Burrows is. We know Burrows is a good player, but I think he's struggling in the system. Yeah. I'm really fearful at the minute in terms of where we're going. I don't think we'll be in relegation trouble. I think it's way too early to talk about that sort of thing, because I think it'll change if this continues. I think the manager will change anyway, but and someone else will come in and hopefully give us a bounce or change things. But a little bit like the Hecky effect after Slav, but because the players are too good, and I know you can't ever be too good. And if it were 30 games in and we were bottom at the table, then I'd be really worried. But I think there's enough time to change it. But is Sayers gonna? Is there any point in sticking with him?
Not for me. I'd say I'd change it now. I watched them walking around at the end of the game. I thought Sidney Peck looked absolutely livid. Beyond not just disappointed, I thought he looked visibly annoyed.
Well, there was some on Radio Sheffield saying that people in COP were having a pop at him.
No, but bear in mind that we see him before they even get anywhere near there.
Yeah, true.
So we're like first stand that they walk past, and he just looked absolutely furious. I think Sayers had a chat with him, don't know about what, but he was just staring at the stand, and we were clapping him, and he's just staring as he's walking past. And I thought, he is not happy. I feel, Ty Campbell must be thinking,
what am I doing?
What am I doing?
No
Callum
service.
O'Hare looked frustrated at times. He'd get on the ball, particularly in the second half, and he's like, give me something to work
Where's my
with.
options? Yeah.
And then so often someone gets on the ball on one side and everyone's static. And they're stood there, they're like, Millwall have set the shape and they're stood, they're like backwards and forwards with the ball. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And there's nobody moving. Everybody just looks just like...
I know, mate.
And they need somebody to... I mean, I'm probably helping your argument, but somebody who's going to come in and give them that little bit of that bit of belief.
Someone who knows the club.
He's not the only option.
Someone who knows the club, someone who knows what we're about, knows what we need.
Yeah. Well, you can look back and go, it's all what if, innit? It's all what if.
Mate, it's been a huge error. A huge error. And I think we sort of half knew it at the time, but look how it's come back to bite us. And I think it's been done now, though. Like you say, there's no changing.
That's kind of where I'm getting from. That I don't want us to just get stuck and.
Well, it don't help anything, does it? It don't help anything to just moan about the decision that was made. It's what do you do now that decision that you've made is going wrong? So is there a way to rectify it? Does that mean giving him more players? But at the moment, I don't see what he's getting out of our existing group of good players.
We need more players. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
I understand that, but what's he getting out of this already good group of players for the level?
No. I'm not changing.
I know, mate. I know. It's just frustrating, isn't it?
I would sack him tonight. But whoever comes in, and even Wilder comes in, Wilder would need more players than we've got.
Yeah, he would.
More quality adding into it, because we've just not quite. We've not quite got enough little bit of sparkle, I think, and I'm concerned. As good as Barry looks, he's not going to be able to play every minute of every game, and when he goes off, we're having to go. Ryan One, you're out on the left now, and he's another one who's like, I've been brought up a centre forward, and you asked me to go on the left, which has worked for has probably worked for some better play. Your Marcus Rashfords of the world who made that shift to the left and made it work, but they're just being Tom Cannon.
Tom Cannon's the other example, isn't he?
And then you take him off. And then you can't take Campbell, or when you do take Campbell off, it's asking a lot of One as an inexperienced lad to be able to go and lead the line and do something different. So I can't understand the faith he must have in some of the players, or the lack of faith he must have in some of the players to not play him.
So if obviously we don't think he'll go like tonight or the next few days. I certainly don't think so anyway. If we lose to Middlesbrough, and it's 5 losses on the spin with no signs or shoots of optimism, and then there's a break for international break in there. There's a 2-week break, which is usually the clubs reset and take a look at things, don't they? Is that? Do you fear for him then if we lose to Middlesbrough?
Yeah.
I don't mean would you sack him, because I know your stance on it, but do you think the board may look at it and say, that's it?
If they're not, then I'm concerned about the board. If you bring somebody into that job and you lose 5, would it be 5 games on the spin?
Yeah, 5 on the spin with no real comeback to any of them.
You lose 5 games, your first 5 games of the season,
against largely inferior opposition, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but we will have been the favourites going into almost every game.
When you should have been promoted the season before.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, the heart of the squad hasn't been ripped out.
No, there's no entitlement there, by the way. I just want to sort of caveat that, because every game you have to work hard to win every game in the Championship, and every team that's beaten us has deserved to beat us, but we have been poor in those performances as well.
They're set up to with a plan.
Yeah, which we have not had. We have not had. So it's because I think this might be true as well. Do you think it's win or bust at Borough?
Should be. If it's not already, it absolutely should be. I mean, I'm saying I'd sack him tonight. You can't just sack somebody. You need to have somebody ready to come in, or you need to at least have a caretaker ready to come in.
And how bad's that we've given him the window? It's likely that he's had such a huge say on these signings, and then a new manager's going to come in when windows closed.
Yeah, but it's just that we've been here before. I think that's why we're all the ones that are saying it now are saying it, is because we've been here before and we've seen this
decline.
Happen. Yeah, and it's sort of like we know what's coming. So we Hecky came in and almost got us there. So it can be done.
If it weren't for a Brees Samba stud, Hecky would have done it first time round, wouldn't he? But anyway, Dave, thank you, mate. You've calmed me down a little bit, and I appreciate it, mate. Always the voice of reason, and I'll let you get off now.
Right. And as I said to you earlier, every season we have a nice away kit, we have a rubbish season, so I'm blaming it on Araya. Yeah, possibly. Do love these kits, by the way. So Flucker's still representing, supporting the club, even though we're fuming with them. Always, mate. Always. Thanks, Davey boy, and I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, pal. See you, mate. Dave the Nose there.
representing as only he can. I really appreciate him coming on because it's not nice, is it, coming on and having these sort of conversations at the minute? But no, it's always talks sense, always calms me down. I hope he's done the same for you guys as well, because I sometimes need that. Sometimes need the voice of reason. And that's Rees, I think. I'm just doing a little bit of dilly-dallying around in the background as well before I get into some more comments now rather than straight into another caller. So apologies to the callers that are waiting, but obviously people have messaged in and want to have their say as well. So let's get to some more comments. Whose have I not read out? I can't remember where I was. I'm going to read this one because John says, anyone agree? Sorry, I didn't see your first one, so I can't say whether I agree with you or not. John, but I've spotted your name because I've just seen that you've become a Platinum Rambler, pal. So thank you very much for your support. No, not a Platinum Rambler. I think you've become a Rambler, haven't you? But thank you anyway. You'll be able to get into our WhatsApp group now and join the fun that is a very, very rowdy group at the minute. Mark Meldrew says we need 5 in before window shuts. Wolfgang says, I have to say, I don't think we were as bad as previously, but the fact that we waited until the last 20 minutes to start playing properly is a problem. Dan says, get rolling for me. Rob says, this is dreadful, Jimmy. We've been in worse positions, but my God, we need a change of fortunes, either bring Cooper or sausage roll. Paul Burberry says, Paul Burberry says, evening, Jimmy, sorry to say, but it's not the players, it's Ruben Sayers up the blades. Up all the rambles, like and subscribe from a blade in Spain. Nath says, the biggest grumble I have is with our own fans cheering players off and then offering to fight our players after the game is a disgrace. Hamer against Swansea and Peck today. I heard a little bit about that. Excuse me, getting the hiccups now on Radio Sheffield. But I haven't seen it. I hope that's not the case where people are offering out City Peck, which is absolutely ludicrous. I certainly don't like at all the where we're supposedly where we're cheering players off the field. That does nothing to help anybody at all. Right, says, hi Jimmy, I forced myself away from the Arsenal game to join you. We're both having a shocker today. Yeah, it was 4 or 5 when I left your game? Yeah, weren't great, pal. Weren't great. John says sorry, that's Rob, because things are jumping about all over the place. There's more comments coming. John says the owners, in my opinion, saw Hull beaters at the Lane 3-0, so he was a god in their eyes. Possibly. Yes, Joe says, I'm scared now. We have scared off the top-end championship players from the Prem on loan. Prem players will want to see development and financially gross from a loan. Anyone that joins this will drop stock. I don't disagree. I don't necessarily agree with the loans. I think it might make a few question coming on a permanent deal. Jimmy, would you take 10 points before 10k? I think 10k is a little bit. Yeah, I would. I'd take any points before 10k, but I think we're a little while off 10k. Thank you to everybody that continues to support us, though. We are growing. 9 to 10, I think it's showing there. Is that the official number? Oh no, 9 to 18 we are on at the minute. So yeah, brilliant progress, and thank you to everyone that's become a part of our community. Andrew says, have we reached the point where we're effectively Peterborough? Sack a successful manager, hire and sack successor, hire a successful manager again, sack them and repeat. I think I know me and Dave just had a really detailed discussion about it, and I thank him for coming on and sharing it, because he will represent another portion of the fan base that don't want Wilder back. But I don't see I'm not so deluded that there isn't another manager that can do a good job with us. But you also have to think that if you feel he was wrongfully sacked in the first place and he was halfway through a rebuild, why he's proven over 2 spells how successful he can be with us, and now I can't keep going over the same ground. But I keep saying he gets us, and people will throw that at me saying that you can't just chuck that out there. But it's a big thing. He understands what the club needs, what we're built on. And if you sell him a proper plan, if you sell him a proper, even an exit plan for himself, if you give him a 3-year contract and say, by the end of these 3 years, we want to be sustainable without Chris Wilder, it's not, obviously that's not something he'll be desperate to do. But in terms of a long-term pitch, sell him a long-term vision where you can go into the background a little bit and become an ambassador for the club, or you can something where it doesn't all have to be Chris Wilder centric, but appoint him. And then if you want to bring in somebody above him, you can do that. If you want to bring in teams that operate in things that Chris Wilder might normally have a say on, then let those teams come in and work with him, and then you make a decision on where they go. But you can sort of pull him away from sole responsibility while he's at the club and evolve that way, rather than sack the man just because he speaks up and he's vocal as and when things don't go right and it's his way or no way, because it's not ultimately, is it? He's an employee, and if he doesn't like it, then he'd walk. I understand that, and he might not be super happy about everything that's going on, but his success speaks for itself, and surely that overrides everything. I just think we wouldn't be here if the change hadn't been made. Just watch your highlights. Look like a draw. It would have been fair, says Claire. Keep the faith. We've all been there. We have, Claire. We have all been there. I think you could argue that we could have nicked a draw, but it would have been nicking it, to be fair. It would have been nicking it. Ian says, sick of this. He keeps giving players an outing that just aren't cutting the mustard. Cannon could have hit S and fell off a camel. Hit sand. If you couldn't hit sand if he fell off a camel. Robinson just wants to argue with the ref. Brooks is just pants. Cameron says, never seen the Blades go from 100 to negative or minus IQ and declining drive. Up the Blades. Up the Ramble. Something like that. Super Sharp Blades says, if I was a Wilder, I think I'd tell us to get lost, to be honest. He might. I don't think they have. Simon says, sorry to say, I don't expect a quick decision. I expect one or two more players in, but that's going to be enough to change. Is that going to be enough to change the direction? Why bin the Tim deal? They've binned the Tim deal on us, I think, because somebody commented earlier saying that, oh well, what was it? I may be wrongly pointing the finger at us here, but I'd said previously with the Tim deal, they wanted to get someone in before they would sanction him going out, and that was the case because everything was done. He was happy to come. Everton were happy for him to come to us. They just wanted somebody to come in for us. And then on one of the streams, I was like, we didn't act soon enough, because that's what somebody had said to me. But then thinking about what had previously been said, well, if it's all been agreed and it's just on Everton to get someone in, then it's Everton's issue, isn't it? They must have changed their mind. And this is me surmising. They must have changed their mind somewhere along the way and thought, no, he can be a part of our first team plans, or he might go to a higher place loan, a team that's higher placed in the division than us, one of the relegated teams, or even I don't know, and get some more game time elsewhere. Not entirely sure. Sayers is trying to squeeze all the star players on. Can't get them all in. Can't get them all in, says Up the Blades. Play players in their positions. Don't just play someone because they're good. He has favourites, in my opinion. How Ty lasted 90, I don't know. Me neither. Robin says the players don't look on board at present, and that's the worrying aspect. We're too open defensively and offer little going forward. I can't see it improving significantly under Sayers, if I'm honest. Janet says, I don't think Sayers is our sort of manager. Get rid soon. Wado says, it isn't the same players that got to the top of the league, though. Half that team is gone. Disagree, Wado. Disagree. Well, a right back, if you class Ben Godfrey as a right back, then you can say he's a better right back than anything we had last season. I think in the centre defence, then you'd say, yeah, probably right. And if Tanganga comes, then that would probably be an upgrade, or certainly on a par with an L. We've lost Vinny, and that is it for me. You can play Ben Burton Diaz on the right hand side, and yes, he's probably an upgrade on Andre Brooks, so that might be another point in your favour. But you're talking about maybe 3 positions where it's not the same as being the top of the Championship last season, and we're working on that anyway. I think Godfrey's a big improvement, so I don't agree, if I'm honest. Chat VR says, listen to Sayers on Radio Sheffield, the fact that he's come out and said the game played out as he planned says it all, trying to get on board but getting harder every week. JD says, got to go back to the formation as last season. Peck needs someone next to him like Samari. O'Hare more forward next to the front man, running the channels between being a nuisance. Gus back to coming off the left in the Duffy role. Where does Barry go then? Does Barry go to the right, JD, for you? Possibly. Chris says, playing players out of position. Cannon is not a winger. Agreed. Peck's not a defensive midfielder. The player's not buying into his style. I'm getting drunk every weekend. Finn says, Jimmy, if you have written off the Blades for autos, why are you putting your money? Who are you putting your money on now? I think you'll come good. Just a slow start. Playoff final fatigue. Play up Sky Blues and up the Ramble. I don't think your boys are a bad bet, to be honest, at the minute. I think the 3 relegated sides aren't looking great. I think they'll certainly pick up. Ask me at end at window, and I'll probably have a better answer for you. Rich says, feel for the Blades right now and miss the champ. Believe me, it's better than being outclassed and managed by a clown. No comment, Rich. No comment. Sayers out now, says Andy Lawrence. We are hopeless. 33-1 relegation. Lump on. We have some very delusional fans, but okay, let's be positive fools. No need, is there? No need. We're already all struggling with what's happening. Sayers is totally incompetent, yet some fans think it's just just give him a chance. It's crazy. Yeah, but there's no need to have a pop at fans, is there? Do you know what I mean? We're all in the same boat. The problem is Sayers, the formation, the team, selections and tactics, not the players. With a good manager, this squad wins all 3 opening games. Sayers needs to go now, get Cooper, O'Neill or Roll. Winkerbank Blade says, no style or nothing. Good players off it. Next 2 games, tough. Don't know where we go from here. It's shocking, isn't it? Craig says, the garden is definitely not full of roses. We need to smell the coffee and get rid. Enough is enough. Alem says, Sellers doesn't fancy Brooks because if you're playing Cannon over him, God help us all. Right wing is needed and also defensive midfielder because Peck isn't doing it for me. Also, O'Hare and Hamer can't play together. That's becoming increasingly a difficult point to deny about the last bit. Right wing is definitely needed. Defensive midfielder is needed, and I agree. I don't think he fancies Brooks. Big Tone says, hi Birmingham fan here. Great channel, very honest. Reminds me when we got rid of Eustace and Rooney tried playing a different way. Come on lads, sort it out. Like United, keep right on. Thank you, pal. Chooser says, holy moly, Big Tone. Fancy seeing you here, pal. Yeah, this channel is fantastic, to be honest. You'll do for me, lads. You'll do for me. Okay, let's see. We'll get one more comment and then we'll bring our next caller on who's been waiting very patiently, as I say. Drew says, I can't see Sayers having much time left without a turnaround. I predict the ownership will be quick to move. Cooper or Roll. My personal dream point would be Nuno Espirito, but a bit unlikely, Drew. Yes, very unlikely, I would say. My Aunt Sal, shout out to Eki Out Sal, or may soon be Ruben Out Sal, who suggested that Nuno may move to West Ham if he's ousted by a ridiculous Forest owner. Why would West Ham not swoop in there and take him if he don't go higher than that? So, yeah, more chance of us getting Graham Potter, I think, Drew, to be honest. Right, on to our next call then. Freshly back from the US of A. It's our mate. It's Lewis. How's it going, pal? Oh, no. Can't hear you. That's not me. That's not me, that one. That's you. Nope, no good. What's going on? What's going on? You're on the same channel as other 2, so it should be working, mate. You're not muted. Oh, no. Mate. Don't know. I might have to, you might have to log out, come back in, mate, if that's all right. Okay, buddy. I'll see you soon. Okay. While Lewis is doing that, let's see if we can get another caller on, because we've also someone very patiently waiting. It's one of our regulars. If you're here on a regular basis, you will know and love him like we all do. It is, oh, hang on. But I've zoomed in on his face there, and he won't appreciate that, I don't think. And I want to keep some viewers, so we'll zoom you out a bit there, pal. It is the one-eyed man himself, it's Dave Mwood. How's it going, pal? And you are definitely muted through me. How's it going, mate? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Did you do that on purpose?
Yes.
Oh, what? Don't do that to me. Not on a day like today. Well, I suppose it's brought a smile to my face anyway. How are you feeling, pal?
I'm changing my name to Sellers Out One Eye.
Sellers? All right, okay. Catchy.
It was useless, mate.
It was shocking today, weren't it?
Yeah. And do you know what I think? My opinion, the worst thing about this is, like you said, we've got, we lost a couple of players, blah, blah, blah. I think we're missing, really, really missing Binet. because he was the one that was always there behind midfield, in front of defence. He'd chase back, he'd harry people.
He would.
But
look, I agree with you. And I think he's a big miss, and he does a lot of the understated things really well. And we now because we don't get to see that, we're recognising how much of a miss he is, and I do agree with that. But Samari's there to do a similar job. I don't expect him to do the Vinny job, and certainly Peck's really struggled to do it, and I think it's been unfair to ask him to do it. We need someone in that sort of position, but I do still think if you can't get a player like Vinny Souza to do that job, then you might need two to do that job. Two who are okay to good at doing it rather than very good like he was. So if you have 2 sixers instead of the one great 6, then you might have to sacrifice a little bit going forward. It might be, Gus is your number 10, or Callum O'Hare's your number 10, and Gus comes in off left and Barry's on right. Whatever you want to do, but you need 2 players to sit and protect, because Sidney Peck on his own is a huge ask for the lad, and he's on a bit of an island at the minute. And like I said earlier, there's a wave of midfield that's coming towards him, and he's on a swivel, and he ends up hacking one of them down, or whatever he ends up doing. And we're struggling, aren't we? We're struggling.
It's just they look clueless.
Yeah,
they look absolutely clueless. As though they don't buy into his tactics. I mean, I reckon he's lost it. It's time
already.
Get him out. And I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I was talking to somebody and he said to me like that Sellers wasn't their first choice. There's a certain manager who was down the road from us, but they weren't willing to pump that money in.
No. That's not quite what I'd heard. I think Sayers, once they'd made the decision to sack Wilder, which was a very difficult one, I believe that Sayers was the first choice. It's certainly a strong majority choice to get Sayers in, but he was under consideration. The man who shall not be named was under consideration, and I believe he was interviewed. So
now he ain't got a job.
And now he ain't got a job. I don't think he could have gone straight into our job, because I think that
I don't. It would have been too.
Wouldn't have been able to walk through Sheffield, would he?
Decisive. It would have been a bit.
Would that be what you do then?
I'm trying to use words here that you can brook.
I know. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Would that be what you do then, Dave? Would you make the change and bring him in, Danny Roll?
Well, he worked wonders, didn't he?
He did at them lot, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, he did. Oh, it's a controversial shout.
Now. Not as many games as gone, but
it's a big
we're
shout.
Down there.
It's a big shout, that. And look, there'll be a few that want it, and there's already been a couple of comments that have said it. I know he's gone now.
Few that don't. I'll get slated in it, mate.
No, not always. No, and that's only because of his association with them lot, not because of his success as a manager. But Dave the Nose is a big fan of that as well, to be honest. I'm not saying he would be now, but I know that he really rates him as a manager. So, and he's gone now, so I'm safe to say that. But there will be a lot of people that rate him, and I know some people close to the club that do think he's a good manager and do think well of him. But
I mean, I can't see Chris Wilder coming back. I know we're going over it again.
I know.
I don't think if they went to him on bended knee, I don't think his pride would let him come back.
Don't you?
No. I think he said, well, you sacked me.
Yeah.
You got yourselves into this mess.
Yeah, but you know what talks, don't you?
Well, yeah.
To be honest, he'll have had a severance package, and then he'll probably be coming back on a better wage. So it's
with a better severance package.
Yeah, probably.
But, I thought they were awful, mate.
Yeah, I did too. Do you think? I was saying to Dave, same thing. Do you think? I don't think he gets sacked between this and the Middlesbrough game, which is next weekend. But obviously, there's a break now after Middlesbrough. Do you think there's a chance he goes?
That's right. If we perform, or if we get the same result, another 0, I think that because the Americans, they're pretty quick on getting rid of people.
Don't mess about, do they? Don't mess about.
No, if it needs You know, fire in there, we'll fire it.
Top man, Dave. Anything else you want to mention, pal, before I let you go?
No, I'm going to go lie down in a darkened room now, man. Pretend it never happened.
I was going to say I'll join you, but that would have sounded a bit weird, wouldn't it? But I think I need the same. It's probably the best way to say it. So, all right then, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, you're recovering well, mate, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, I'm just glad I've only got one eye. I couldn't really see the other side of the pitch. So
that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. All right, pal.
Cheers,
see you soon. Ta-ra, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one. Dave Mwood there, who was a regular caller and huge supporter of the channel. So thank you for jumping on, Dave. Always cheers me up as well, speaking to him, especially after I've had to endure Dave the Nose, which, you know, one of them. What can you say? So let's see if Lewis is able to get his stuff sorted out. See if he'll come through now. I can see him all sat giddy. I think he's. Have you switched system? Thought he might have done. He's give me a little nod there. So let's see. Bringing him in. It's our mate Lewis, just back from America. How's it going, pal?
I'm good, mate.
Yay! Oh, do you know what? That is the most I've cheered all day. That is the most I've cheered. How are you doing, mate? Firstly, I know it's off topic, and not all the listeners will be interested, but I'm interested. How was your trip, mate? You've been away working in America, haven't you?
Yeah, it was great. I managed to get some leisure time while I was out there. Took in some baseball and various other things. A concert. Went to an Offspring concert, which was good fun. So
gotta keep them separated.
Yeah, that's the one. They played it as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, back to reality with a bang, mate.
Yes.
Them Blades today.
Yeah, and look, I'll be honest. I'll hold my hands up here. I've been in the chat giving a slightly alternative view, which I got some pelted for.
Mate, that's what we're here for, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You give your alternative view to me. I need it as well. I need that positivity, really.
Well, I got some pelters for it, which is understandable because it's not been good. You know, I can't provide a lot of defence for Ruben in terms of the performances, you know, and the results. It's way below what we expect. I mean, that's obvious, and I don't think any of us are in disagreement about that. I think for me, the problem for me, Jimmy, I think is why, because I came out of the chat, I thought, well, I'm just going to remove myself because it was getting a bit, lively in there.
No, I've not seen it. I've not seen it.
And I thought, well, I think the issue for me is that it's too late. We made the decision to remove Wilder, to move in a completely different direction with Sayers. We've brought in already some expensive loans. They're looking to spend some more money now. There's deals potentially on the table.
Yeah,
we're nearly at the end of the window. So the only alternative option in my mind, even at this early stage, is a manager to come in and do a quick fix, an Allardyce Warnock type job. So I think we're already lagging behind. It would already take some time to then completely change to a different method and style if you were going to move in that direction. You know, so I think it's a little bit too late. So you either persevere with him for a little bit longer, which is what I've kind of lobbied for, which again is a risk because there's nothing so far to suggest that it's going to get better.
Okay.
But you know, that's my take on it. I just think now, whatever you do, it's going to be a patchwork job to fix it.
But do you not feel if we are already going down a path that doesn't lead to anything, great?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we allow him to continue that? And when I strip everything back and you think about it sensibly, he's had 4 games, so there's been different players coming into those teams as well. Only the odd one, sometimes 2, but he hasn't had a lot of time, and that is the argument I'm trying to get into my head. It's the performances and the manner of the performances, and the fact that once a game swings a certain way, he doesn't appear able to change it. There's not only that; it's the way that the players don't seem in sync with each other or to understand what they're doing. So if I'm losing faith that he can bring the players together to play his style.
Yeah.
Now, if you're saying give him more time, I'm an advocate of hearing that and I want to understand why we should really, in terms of, I know you're saying it's too late to make a change, but if you think, for example, a Danny Roll comes in, and I'm not saying it should be Danny Roll because I'm just trying to move away from the Chris Wilder definitely being the man sort of thing. Really, I think Sean Dyche wouldn't entertain it, in my opinion. He might do if he chucked in a wedge at him, but Danny Roll might want to play a completely different style to Ruben Sayers. but he can make a group of players play his own way, and he could likely adapt to a different way of playing. So why would you not make a change to, it don't have to be Danny Rowe, but why would you not make a change to a different manager who you think might have more of a chance of making it work if you don't believe in Sayers, rather than, well, because it's early on and we've gone too far down in terms of giving him the support, why not just see how he plays out? Or is that your reasoning? Just let's see how he goes now that he's had that support and backing.
I think it's the latter for me. I think he's had the support and backing. It seems to be that he's going to get some more.
Yeah.
Assuming that they don't pull the trigger, as you and Dave were just saying, American businessmen, they don't tend to mess around. They tend to make decisions, strong ones, quickly. They did with Wilder relatively quickly. I know some people say it came a little bit late in the summer.
Yeah.
But unless they do that, I think he's had some backing already, and I guess I'm putting myself in that situation and thinking to myself, well, what would I do? If I decided that he was my man and I wanted to move in that direction, I had all these ideas about doing it through data, AI, all that stuff that we've talked about, then I would want to persevere with it for a little bit longer than 3-4 games. I know I'm going to get pelters for that. It hasn't been good the first few games.
You shouldn't get pelters for it, mate. You shouldn't get pelters. It's just a difference of opinion.
It's a difference of opinion, but it's got to improve quickly. And by quickly, I mean if we lose at Borough, that might be enough. Certainly, if we lose the next 2 games, I think that'll be enough for him.
I just think about it. I know what you're saying in terms of if he's their man. If I'm a rich English businessman and I go over to the NBA, I know nothing about basketball, and I go over to the NBA and I take over the Chicago Bulls and I sack their head coach, and I say I want to go in a different direction, and I bring in a foreign manager or a foreign coach who has no experience playing at the top of the league, but I'm going to try and mould him into my own vision and hope that we'll squeeze things here and we'll do things there and we'll do it a different way. We'll bring in a different structure around him. And after the first 4 or 5 games, we're getting absolutely trounced and you can't see anything. I'm having doubts as to whether he's actually my guy. So it's not a case of, well, I've picked him, so I'm going to stick with him for 15 games. I suppose it's now a test of how stubborn the new ownership are. If we don't think it's going to work, and we hope it does, obviously, I'm just coming on and being honest about my raw emotions directly after the game, which is always a danger of doing these sort of match reaction shows. But it's how we're feeling. It's now a test of the owner's stubbornness and patience, and how much of I think it's how much they want ego versus success, ego damage versus success. So if it turns out that Chris Wilder, for example, and yes, I've mentioned his name again, but is the only answer that they come to well, we should never have sacked him, really. Is it a case of, well, they won't bring him back because their egos are going to be too big for it, in terms of it will be an admission of we were foolish, we should not have made this move? Or will they think as investors and businessmen and say, well, if here's our best opportunity of maybe sneaking into the playoffs even this season now, then surely we should make that move and swallow our pride and do that. So I think it's a really interesting time to see whether they are, what they will see as headstrong and backing their man to the hilt, when some may just see it as sticking to the guns and hoping that it works. Like you're saying as well, we don't know that Ruben's going to work, but you've backed him, and it appears as though you're going to continue to back him. So let's see what he can do for 10, 15 games and see how it goes. Or are they going to pull the trigger early? And I think there's, as fans who live and breathe it and have seen it before, and you've been there as well as a fan and watched us decline and then have to claw our way back, and it's the similar traits of this sort of downward spiral where it doesn't look. We were heading that way under Slav to a degree. It wasn't this bad, not from my memory, but we were certainly not clicking under Slav, and they decided to make a change, and they did that, and we reverted to type a little bit. And we climbed back up the league, and I think that's why fans are so itchy to, well, if it's going to go one way, then let's just make the change. And I get it. It's very early though, still we're 4 games in, and we're all. I'm certainly clamouring now to say, why aren't we changing it? And I have to pinch myself and say, come on, how long has he had really? And there's sort of different things flying around my head because I'm just so disillusioned with what's happening at the club at the minute, and I want to be on board.
There's different perspectives as well in it, because I've been away the last few weeks. I haven't been to a game yet, so I've been picking up audio and then watching highlights later. So I'm a little bit removed in terms of being able to watch it back and go, I'm looking at it and thinking about it, but not the raw emotion's not there. I'm not watching it live. So there's a different perspective there. The Chris Wilder caveat is a thing, whether we're Wilder supporters or whether we're detractors, it's a thing because he's there, he's still available. I mean, if I knew the directors were seriously considering that, if we were in a situation now where we caught wind of they might think about bringing Wilder back and Chris wanted to come back, I'd say do it straight away, because he's a sure thing. I'd do it straight away, but I don't think they'll do that, and that's why
I don't.
I've written it off.
I don't. Anything else you want to cover, mate, before I let you go?
No, not really. Just I think we should just try and settle down, calm down as a group of supporters. Get to next week. Middlesbrough's not going to be an easy game. We know that. Let's see what they can produce. Hopefully, we'll have a good week in the market. Get one or two more players in. Let's see if we can go to Borough and put in a surprising performance and get a result. It might make everyone feel better. If we get turned over there again, I think he's in trouble, to be honest.
So I know you're saying you would stick with him, and I've been asking a lot of people this question though. Do you think if it's 5 losses on the spin, then they could pull the trigger?
I think so, because it's just such a shift from where we were last season. And we're already at that point. I mean, I've got to look at the table. I don't know how many points first place has got, but you can get 9 points, so we could be 12 points behind potentially by the end of that game, and we're already playing catch up. So
Borough are top 2. They've also got 9 points. So they've won their first 3 games. We've lost our first 3 games in league. So it's a tough ask. And but these 3 games were winnable, and we've thrown them away. So they're going to get tougher. So, mate, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for giving us a different perspective as well, and sticking your head above parapet when you know it's not going to be a popular opinion tonight. But I love that. That's what we're about. So, yeah, shame on you if you're giving him pelters in the chat. We'll be having words, but
it weren't that bad. It weren't that bad, to be honest with you. I just
all right,
when it kind of irks people, they seemed a bit annoyed with it.
And it's raw. It's raw into it tonight, and I get that, and it's going to be, and like I've come out and like I say, it's straight away you're on camera and sort of talking about your opinions, but I'll calm in the week and I'll hopefully be ready to go again. But as it stands, I'll always be honest with people, and I can't see it working at the moment, and I want to change my opinion on it. Just can't see it at the minute. So, right, thank you, pal. Really appreciate it. Good to see you again. See you soon.
Cheers.
Top man, Lewis, and he's right to give a different perspective on it, and I like that he's come on and said the unpopular thing where, why don't we stick with him for a little bit and see if it can work, because it might. I just can't, just because I can't see it, and clearly a few in the comments can't either, doesn't mean it's wrong, does it? Doesn't mean it's the wrong opinion. Millie says, my biggest worry is, results aside, we look tiny in comparison to everyone we play. Really good point. No physical presence at all. O'Hare, Hamer, Barry, Brooks, Campbell, Cannon, Robbo, Burrows, just something. Keith says, remember Wilder okayed the purchase of Cannon. He did, but he were offered him, and I don't mind Tom Cannon as a purchase. I liked the fact that we signed him. Yeah, I'm all about that. Bryce says, Billy Sharp knows what we're about too. Jimmy, you are not advocating for that, are you, Bryce? Surely. I'll try my best to get through as many comments as I can now, but we're almost at the end. Jimmy says, Jimmy, you really need to pull the plug on Wilder FM. It's spoiling every conversation. Yes, he would save this mess, but his limits are clear. So that surely is a reason for mentioning it, really. It's a good job we didn't get promoted. It did us a favour. Disagree. I normally agree with you, Jimmy, and I understand you not wanting me to talk about Wilder. That's fair enough. But you've just argued the point as to why, yes, he would save this mess. And that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? Right, let's see who else hasn't had a... Crimbo says, I do think that the tactics aren't going to work with this current team. We need at least 2 defensive midfielders. I know fluent attacking football is what we want to see, but that's not going to happen. FX says Paul Chuckle's free. He could do a job for us. Instead of constantly giving the ball away, they just go to you, to me, to me, to you, to me. Maybe total football, Chuckle ball. It's the future. Thank you for that, FX. Nick B says the fellow Leeds fans in here need cheering up. Well, we can be miserable together tonight, can't we? Scott says the teams that have beat us all said we're one of the easiest to play against. We know we won't beat Borough. It's just prolonging the inevitable. Get someone in now and they have time during the international break. Super Sharp Blade says my first choice would be Cooper. Phil B says we've not got the players for the system. We have the players, not the system. It's an absolute car crash the way we play. What is the system we're playing? I'll give Sellers until the international break. We're in deep trouble. Justin says each to their own, but I'm baffled by all the role suggestions. Don't we need someone with promotion experience? Dyche or Wilder back for me. Role would be another Sayers, in my opinion. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Possibly. Cooler King says Wilder returning might depend on if Bridges were burned when he left, and with Dave the Nose, look forward, not back. None of this gets the club stuff, and sacking Wilder wasn't the mistake. Picking Sayers was. Interesting point. Could be fair as well. Ashley says Burnley fan, feel bad for you lot. What's going on? But can't help but think it's self-inflicted after binning Wilder. Sam says the worry is when you miss out on promotion like we did, you have to push on the next season. You're supposed to build on failure, not go backwards like we have. The time was now. Sab says give him till the international break, Jim, then bring someone in. If nothing improves, gives the new man time then. Michael says, I'm a Leeds fan. I don't really like Wilder, but the sooner you get him in, the more chance you have at making the playoffs. Bryce says BBD was not the same player this time around. I agree with that. Pixie says, had to leave the WhatsApp group, Jimmy. I ain't being called deluded. Too many Wilder lovers in there now. Is that the Ramblers chat rather than the Platinum one? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm a Wilder lover, but nobody should be calling you deluded. Phil says, remember, Jimmy, we didn't win under Wilder for 5 games when Wilder came back. But we have no structure. We're weak, cowardly, slow, everything you can't be in the Championship. Matt says, I was looking forward to the Championship after last year. How wrong I was. No visible plan in defending or attacking. Still love the Rambles. Thank you, mate. Master Rules says, get Warnock in just for the season. No thanks. No thanks. Right, where are we? Wado says, Roll would sort you out in quick time. Steve Snell says, Jim, we were -2 last season. Sayers has made us -9. Against 3 nobodies. Harsh, but teams we should have been competitive against. Lee says, just watch my team get beat by Arsenal. It could be worse. I could support a team from Sheffield propping up the Championship. It's nice of you, Lee. Thanks, pal. Alessandro says, I would never have sacked Wilder after squad building the summer, getting 92 points and instilling confidence and belief. FX says, Danny Ings incoming. Not that I've heard, pal. Not that I've heard, but, you know, that might be a quick one. That was poor. That was a poor Millwall team, says Dodgy Motson, and we were worse. There's no style, no tactics, no identity for me. Sayers was never the right man and never will be. Get him gone. Oh, Claret and Blue 1882 says Claret here in peace. Just looking at the results from the Championship and really shocked to see the Blades at the bottom. Never expected that. God forbid, but is relegation on the cards? Not a chance. Billy says, Shambles, Jimmy Shambles, get Chris on the phone now, he says. Blunt Yorkshireman says, we tried to change too quickly, trying to get Premier League players, not players to get us there. Penny finally dropped on transfers. Correct, absolutely, 100%. Turn your nose up at players like Jimmy Dunn and Harry Darling. Crazy. I hope the penny drops here as well. Says is a change too far and it's not worked. Carl says, took the gamble, now failing fast. Saul says, Tanganga is an excellent signing, but how long before Wilder is back? I don't think Sayers is the answer for yourselves. All the best for the rest of the season. Thank you, Saul. I don't know if you're a Millwall boy, but if you are, then congratulations today. Darren says, there's no way they're going back to Wilder. No matter what happens, that ain't happening. MW says, well, boys, tell you one thing, Prem isn't fun at all. Well, neither's Championship for us at the minute. DT says 68 clubs in the top 3 divisions are owned by Americans. Only 4 of those can be considered to have success with American owners. I may be directing my frustrations in the wrong place, but I just can't not. We're nearly there now, I think. Philippe says, just got in, live in Cambridge, live in Cams. From attending the game, we didn't we did improve when Tom Cannon was substituted, but what shocked me was how vulnerable and exposed we are in front of defence. Yeah, me too. Damien says, days like today remind you of your place in the food chain. Wow. Joe says, lose at Borough, he's gone. Can't see him sticking by him. Wado says, got to respect anyone who has the balls to sit online, on camera, and voice their opinion. Take the balls. Especially how bad social media is. Oh, mate, don't we just know it? Don't we know it? Wado says, here's some money for a pint to cry into Jim. Play up Sky Blues. Thank you, pal. Very much appreciated. Darren says, new subscriber here. Honestly can't see anything so far to give us any hope for improvement. No shape, in or out of possession. Think the inevitable will happen before the end of September. Right, okay. Thank you for the subscription, pal. If anybody wants to subscribe to the channel, it's absolutely free. We are trying to get to 10k. If you like the video as well, it really helps us. If you're enjoying what you see. Game Slayer says, is Tanganga still on? I give him 5 games, maybe 6, then get rid and bring someone else in. But who? What are you talking about? Liam says, the problem is if you get Wilder back, you're essentially calling us a one-man club. There has to be life after him. If that is Ruben, is debatable or unlikely, that doesn't mean Wilder should be back. My argument was, certainly that he should never have gone in the first place. You can't have that argument now. He's gone. But if he's the most obvious solution to repair it, get him in and build the structure you want around him. And then if he doesn't, gel or jive with that, then that's when you make the decision. And it's not as radical as this has been, where it's a total shift from what was a very successful team. Anyway, should go all out and get Bielsa, says Barry. Isn't he Uruguay manager? Take a punt on Dyche. I don't think he'd look at us, to be honest, Bry, at the minute. Mickey says, we can read the comments, so not sure why Jimmy has to read them out. Makes it more depressing somehow. That's because people like to have their point heard, pal. And also, it goes on as a podcast as well. So anyway, you get your podcasts, people can hear and get the chance to have, listen to people where they can't actually see what's going up on screen and stuff. Paul says, Yanks never admit when they're wrong. Their ego won't allow it. Wow. Scott says, I'd change managers now. Give the new man 2 full weeks with the boys. And Andrew says, I said his record was very bad. What did you expect? They didn't want him in Spain because he is no good. Wow. Okay. Right. We're going to call it there. Bryce says, keep it Ramble, folks, for the best Blades content around. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, pal. Thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses, is it? Certainly not as a Blades fan. And not on here either. We're not going to try and pretend that everything's great. And by the same token, we won't sensationalise things. I'll just come on and I'll be honest with you about when I'm concerned. And at the minute, I'm very concerned. We've lost 4 games on spin. It don't look like we're getting any better. We could have got a point today, but ultimately we were the second best team for 75 minutes. And it's not good enough for a team with our expectations, with our quality in the squad. The manager certainly needs to step up and get things right because it's not going right at the minute at all. I can't see where faith in him to get it right comes from. I'm trying to believe in him. I want to support the manager because that means, I'm supporting the team that way as well. But I'm struggling at the minute. I am struggling, but I'll still be there. We'll be doing a watch. Next time you'll see my face live on the Ramble will be for I think, unless there's any major breaking news that I need to give you an update on, because I'm taking the laptop to France with me, because I'm going Monday to Friday to France, and we're going down tomorrow to Dover. I may jump on during the week, but we have got Dave the Nose and Man Mountain. There'll be a view from the mountain, a countdown to kick off, a hot off the presser. Next time you'll definitely see me on screen on the Ramble is for the watch along for Borough away. So keep it Ramble, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades.